So this is continued from yesterday's reading, page 51. So let's start from the place they visited for Halloween. But Mom seemed like she was in a hurry to get this over with, and she moved us along. Once we were through the gate, it was one scare after another. There were vampires jumping out at you, and people without heads, and all sorts of crazy stuff. Ooh, ew. But the worst part was this area called Chainsaw Alley. There was this big guy in a hockey mask, and he had a real chainsaw. Roderick told me the chainsaw has a rubber blade, but I wasn't taking any chances. Right when it looked like the chainsaw guy was going to catch us, Mom stepped in and bailed us out. That's not nice. I'm sorry, ma'am. They were rescued by the mom, right? Mom made the chainsaw guy show us where the exit was, and that was the end of our haunted house experience right there. I guess it was a little embarrassing when Mom did that, but I'm willing to let it go this one time. Saturday, the Crossland haunted house really got me thinking. Those guys were charging $5 a pop, and the line stretched halfway around the school. I decided to make a haunted house of my own. Actually, I had to bring Rolly in on the deal because Mom wouldn't let me convert our first floor into a full-out haunted mansion. I knew Rolly's dad wouldn't be crazy about the idea either, so we decided to build a haunted house in his basement and just not mention it to his parents. Me and Rolly spent most of the day coming up with an awesome plan for our haunted house. Here was our final plan. Hall of Screams, Lake of Blood, Bottomless Pit. Bottomless pit. It's like a hole in the ground. Rat tunnel. Maze of 1,000 skulls. Knife alley. My goodness. Handhole. And death slide. Acid lake. Exit. Is it even possible? I don't mean to brag or anything, but what we came up with was way better than the Crossland High School haunted house. We realized we were gonna need to get the word out that we were doing this thing, so we got some paper and made up a bunch of flyers. I admit maybe we stretched the truth a little in our advertisement, but we had to make sure people actually showed up. Haunted house will leave with live sharks. Ouch. 32 Surrey Street, admission 50 cents. So cheap. At 3 p.m., it's still bright outside though. By the time we finished putting the flyers up around the neighborhood and got back to Rolly's basement, it was already 2:30, and we hadn't even started putting the actual haunted house together yet. So we had to cut some corners from our original plan. When 3 o'clock rolled around, we looked outside to see if anyone had shown up. And sure enough, there were about 20 neighborhood kids waiting in line outside Rolly's basement. Little kids. Now I know our flyer said admission was 50 cents, but I could see that we had a chance to make a killing here. So I told the kids that admission was $2 and the 50-cent thing was just a typo. The first kid to come up his $2 was Shane Snella. He paid his money and we let him inside, and me and Rolly took our positions in the Hall of Screams. The Hall of Screams was basically a bed with me and Rolly on either side of it. Rah! Squeal! I guess maybe we made the Hall of Screams a little too scary, because halfway through, Shane called up in a underneath the bed. We tried to get him to crawl out from under there, but he wouldn't budge. I started thinking about all the money we were losing with this kid clogging up the hall of screams, and I knew we had to get him out of there. Quick. Eventually, Rolly's dad came downstairs. At first, I was happy to see him because I thought he could help us drag Shane out from under the bed and get our haunted house cranking again. But Rolly's dad wasn't really in a helpful mood. Rolly's dad wanted to know what we were doing and why Shane Snella was curled up under the bed. We told him that the basement was a haunted house and that Shane Snella actually paid for us to do this to him. But Rolly's dad didn't believe us. I admit that if you looked around, it didn't really look like a haunted house. All we had time to put together was the hall of screams and the lake of blood, which was just Rolly's old baby pool with half a bottle of ketchup in it. I tried to show Rolly's dad our original plan to prove that we really were running a legitimate operation, but he still didn't seem convinced. And to make a long story short, that was the end of our haunted house. The good news is, since Rolly's dad didn't believe us, he didn't make us refund Shane's money. So at least we cleared the $2 today. Yay! That's it for today.